first question I had for you, I hope I can get a few in here. During your talk up here, you had mentioned that you want to reconfirm the value to students and society. And I wonder if that meant anything that's been lost at Purdue, or exactly what do you think Purdue is lagging in either?
Yeah, no, I was speaking generally. I think Purdue is values more clear here than almost anywhere I can think of. On both sides of the equation. I think what is taught here, the rigor with which it's taught, as far as I can tell, and also the cost to students and their families. I think that that value proposition is as strong as almost any I know. No, I was referring more generally to the fact that not a week goes by these days that one doesn't see an article, a column, a book, raising the question we've never heard before. Are too many young people going to college? Are they learning anything meaningful while they're there? Is a college diploma really an emblem of new learning, or simply, as some would say, a weeding out mechanism that signifies that a student had some smarts coming in the door? And so I was speaking more generally. I think Purdue is so well positioned to, first of all, to reestablish for those who need it, how vitally important higher education is. And by the way, there's another corner of this, which is that what are now called disruptive technologies, other changes are coming, are suggesting to some people that the whole model of residential university learning that we've lived with for so long might rather quickly start to change. Well, don't know. But if there are going to be new modes of delivering learning, who's in a better position than Purdue, this premier center of technology, information technology, innovation technology?
And during the search process and interviews, I spoke with Sam, the provost, and he mentioned there's been a lot of discussion of the fact that you aren't from an academic background, already faculty raising those issues. What are you going to do, I guess, to try and reach out to those people? And I guess, and what are your concerns you had about
work my tail off? I had to be dragged out here from a conversation with the faculty senate leadership, first of, I'm sure, hundreds that will follow. I think this is a very legitimate, natural concern that people would have. And I brief remarks, I try to address it, and I would just sort of direct you back to what I said there. But I will say that I'm so impressed with Tim Sands, and I told him that if this were to come to pass, his job, which is vital under any circumstances, would be bigger than ever. That I would be relying on him more heavily because of the obvious deficiencies in my background in this one area. So that's going to be a very solid partnership. The single most important, I suppose, that I'll have. But between my own efforts to make up ground, meet people, and understand more thoroughly what they do and how they prefer to do it, and relying on Tim and people like him, I hope we can build real confidence and rapport. Okay.
The Exponent would also like to offer our congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
Daniels. My name is Lauren Westberg. I'm from the Exponent. One thing, as I'm sure you're aware of, the faculty responded to the survey sent out earlier this year with a resounding response of wanting an academic to be the next president. What do you have to say in response to some faculty members perhaps being a little disappointed in your lack of experience in academia?
That I understand. I think it's a very natural, their response to the survey was a very natural one. In their shoes, I might have given listed the same priority for that.
How will you work to assure them that your lack of experience in academia is not a problem?
Well, I just went through this, I think, with Eric. I would more or less repeat the same thing. I said here, my single highest objective, and I'm going to start working on it right away, to both build personal relationships and better understanding. I think it's going to work in both directions. I saw some quotes that I think will be about some misconceptions that shouldn't be too hard to dispel. some of these folks don't know, it's clear that I sponsored and proposed. Mark Dishke was my principal partner in this. What would have been the biggest infusion of dollars into public education, probably by any state anywhere, at least relative to our size. We didn't get it done, but it was all to be used for student board building, building faculty excellence. So I hope to communicate in every way possible my deep respect for what they do, my understanding of the primacy of their role, the quality they bring to it. And let me say one last thing, Mark. I hope also that as in any complex, large organization, it's not one, if everybody has just the same set of skills, you probably don't get the best overall result. And I hope to bring some assets to the university that complement those that are already so abundant in the faculty. And maybe I think there can be ways I can support them and further their success. Maybe a little better in some ways than if I was simply came from exactly the same background they had.
All right, I'm going to have to take next question, WBAA.
Congratulations, Governor, we're here.
Oh, hey.
Mike Lewitzer with WBAA Radio. A few months back at the Road School, we asked you what you'd like to see qualities in the next city president. I think the first thing you said
Oh my
was
gosh, whatever.
change agent. With your knowledge of Purdue now, could you name something specifically that you'd like to see change?
I said earlier that I'm all questions and no answers right this minute. I think that's the right position to stay in. But I'll just refer you back to the theme I've mentioned before, that there are some unprecedented challenges to higher ed, and that I see a real opportunity for Purdue to manage that, whatever evolution is coming, better than most.
You mentioned you're stepping away from politics and partisan activity.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think you need to change in your life as is now? I mean, any relationship with Western?
According to the
governors?
vehicle policy, I can't ride the motorcycle quite as much. I'm sorry, what was the last part of it?
Just Western Governors University, anything like that you have to give up?
Well, I don't have any, I mean, first of all, I think that Western Governors was an important complement to the higher ed picture. In the end, it doesn't compete with Purdue in any way that I can see. The average student there is 36 years old and part-time. Not a likely candidate for this university, but I think it meets a need that the state has, so I'm glad we have it. But good point, by the way. I have been on the board of the organization. I'll get off of that promptly. Yeah.
Question?
Governor Jeff Smith from WLFI, congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Do you see, or how would you address the perception of some people that there may be a conflict because of the number of trustees that you appointed?
Well, I'll just leave that to the university. I don't know what.
Let's take that question to the chair of the board of trustees.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm happy to answer that. First of all, as you can see today, the search committee under Mike's leadership conducted an absolutely flawless process. That search committee was a diverse committee, a diagonal slice of the university, comprised of different temperaments, talents, and convictions. The governor had nothing to do with the search committee at all. From the trustee perspective, we've discussed that, and we believe there's no conflict whatsoever. We even went to the aspect of talking with our council, and they advised there's no conflict.
Okay, and a second question I would have would be the term of the contract, the pay that was agreed to, and keeping in mind the 65 age.
Yeah, so, from the term of the contract, it will obviously be beyond the governor's 65th birthday, and we don't see that as an issue at all.
Have you decided on a length?
Could you say that again?
Have you decided on a length for the contract?
You know, we have a memorandum of understanding, and we'll be putting together the contract over the next several months. So, no.
Okay. Anything else to start?
You said that you were going to recuse yourself from politics. Could you explain what that means? No fundraising, no commenting on the presidential or governor race? And then I have another question as well.
Yeah, it means anything, I mean, what I think it means, I may think of additional dimensions to it, but what I had in mind, I said partisan activity. So no campaigning, no commenting about anybody's campaigning in the state, out of the state, anywhere else, no fundraising, nothing. Like, I won't be a delegate to the national convention, I won't be there. I'll continue to serve out my term. You know, if people, I guess it could arise in a campaign context. If people say something I think's inaccurate, unfair, scurrilous, you know, about our current service, I reserve the right to try to correct the record, but I will not undertake any activity. Actually, I have to say after Monday, I discovered after having written that sentence, I had one out-of-state event planned a long, long time ago for an old friend, and I guess I think I'll honor that, but from that point, with that tiny qualifier, I simply, it just wouldn't be right, wouldn't be appropriate.
And could you address how your style of leadership in your administration as governor, what can we learn about what kind of Purdue president you'll be from the kind of changes and the attitude that you took as a governor in the administration?
I'm not sure. I'll have to learn it along with you. I mean, this is a very different arrangement, quite rightly so. Shared governance. I'll have, among the things I'll have so much to learn about is the way in which decisions are made here, and all the various constituencies have to continue to play their rightful part. So those things that would translate or would apply, and probably those that would apply to any organization, you want to have the very finest people that you can, people who are prepared to work really hard, hold themselves to high standards of conduct, and people who are eager to make the organization constantly better every day. But I understand the context here would be very different. The ways of making change would be very different.
Hey, Chris and Keith, I'd like to follow up on one question, and it was about the term of the contract. You know, it'll be at least 5 years, and I only bring that up because there's been some, because of the nature of the question, also kind of linked it to the governor being 63, and there's been some articles in the paper speculating that he might only be president for 2 years. That's not the case. We just have a general memorandum of understanding, and so the term would be at least 5 years, compensation to be worked out, all the other details to be worked out. But I just wanted to make that point so nobody got hung up that this was a 2-year assignment or something like that.
Chairman Tom Point, Associated Press.
Hi, Tom.
Following up on what you said earlier about politics, still governor, Republican governor for 6 months, how do you avoid, all partisan politics?
Scrupulously. We'll just have to see what it means. It'll be a different situation, and there may be unforeseen context that we'll have to call case by case, but it's my intention, I hope I've made very, very plain to come up, but it's a good caution. Well, obviously, I have a duty to be even-handed.
Final question, do you plan on living in the president's house on campus?
Yeah, I do. I mean, my own residence is just barely an hour from here, so there'll be some back and forth. And then, we've got one grandchild and one soon to come. And so that's my wife's new career, so it's going to take a lot of her time. But it is. I hadn't really thought much about this, but I'm almost only since the very beginnings president from Indiana. I hope this will be something I can bring, by the way, that not every candidate might. One thing we've talked a lot about things I'll have to learn, and there are a lot of those. One thing I don't have to learn much about is this state. I've been in every corner of it over and over. I think I know it. I know what Purdue means and the extension.